What is ecotourism?
Ecotourism is ecologically sustainable tourism with a primary focus on experiencing natural areas that fosters environmental and cultural understanding, appreciation, and conservation. Ecotourism has the potential to inspire environmentally sustainable and culturally responsible tourism.
Here are some principles of ecotourism. The first is always stay on the footpath. Leave only your footsteps, never litter, and never start fires. The second is never interfere with the wildlife. Never scare or feed the animals. Also, always protect and preserve the local resources. Never waste more water than you need. Respect local customs and traditions. This is done by wearing appropriate clothing and adjusting your behavior to their cultural norms. Ecotourism consists of activities like surfing, cycling, walking, kayaking, diving, birdwatching, hiking, and swimming. The ideal ecotourism community creates local jobs and incomes while protecting biodiversity, flora, and fauna. The wildlife and nature is left undisturbed, and tourists show support for the local indigenous arts and crafts. However, damage and waste can occur because of the inappropriate behaviors of travelers. When taking a hike, it is important to use reusable water bottles.
I'm so thirsty from that hike that we just went on. I'm gonna get a water bottle.
Wait! Plastic water bottles aren't good for the environment, Kristiina. Try using this. When you switch to reusable, you're saving plastic from going into the oceans.
No way!
Make the environmentally conscious change, especially when traveling outside of the country. The tourism industry is expanding, and so is its impact on the environment. 50 years ago, around 25 million people viewed the world's tourism industry. Today, it's grown to 1.2 billion people. By 2030, that number will swell to 1.8 billion. The industry accounts for 10% of the global domestic product. This money has the powerful potential to positively and negatively impact the environment. Mass tourism causes resource depletion because these type of tourists will use as much water in 24 hours as a third world villager will use in 100 days. Luxurious resorts gentrify communities, raise the living costs for locals, and destroy cultural traditions and produce significant amounts of waste. Mass tourism is a form of globalized exploitation that should be prevented by all travelers. On the other hand, ecological tourism aims to reform and educate the industry in order to reduce environmental damage. Some solutions are global, such as carbon offsets for air travel, but the local community solutions are where solutions matter most. Hydroponic farms in travel destinations cultivate food for tourists while raising awareness for the local land. National parks and wildlife protected areas can be properly funded by those who wish to explore these serene landscapes. Ecotourism proportionally supports the local economy while preserving the natural ecosystems. It is important for travelers visiting native land to listen and show compassion for their livelihood. It is more peaceful for everyone to immerse yourself in similarities while celebrating your differences. When you're visiting someone else's country, how can you show respect for their land? When you are a tourist in someone else's land, as exciting as it can be to experience all the terrain, it is important to show the utmost respect for the locals' land. Remember that you are a visitor, so act like a guest in someone else's home. This means you are showing awareness for the resources and expressing gratitude for the locals. You can show this respect by leaving the land cleaner and more preserved than when you arrived. There are so many ways you can give back to the community that are culturally and environmentally respectful. Walking gently on the natives' land, as well as consciously consuming, are the foundational values of ecotourism.
Many students and travelers decide to visit Southeast Asia while they're in Australia, and oftentimes they do not read about the cultural rules while visiting the temples. Here are some ways to be culturally knowledgeable and respectful in Thailand.
Visiting Southeast Asia, how do you show respect to their culture?
Well, in Thailand, it's really disrespectful to show your shoulders and above your knees. So when you enter a Buddhist temple, you always need to be wearing a sarong or a shawl to cover up your shoulders, as well as take off your shoes before entering.
Example of what not to wear when you're entering a Buddhist temple in Southeast Asia. Kristiina, help me out. Once you've covered your shoulders, this is a great example of how to be culturally respectful when entering a Buddhist temple. Responsible tourism is about more than protecting the environment. It's about supporting local economies and communities and lifting people up and empowering them. It's about protecting animals and ensuring suppliers we work with meet global welfare standards for animals in tourism. These 5 freedoms include good feeding, good housing, good health, appropriate behavior, and protection from fear and distress. It's important that we don't attend animal shows or any activities where animals are forced to behave unnaturally. Say no to elephant rides. Training an elephant to perform involves a cruel process to break their spirit. So make sure you pass on elephant shows. Support camps that offer elephant-friendly activities, and experience these gentle giants in a sustainable manner.
Many people partake in elephant trekking while visiting Southeast Asia. However, before you decide to do this, it's important to get educated and understand what the elephants go through while doing this.
Asia, what are the problems surrounding elephant tourism, and also what are the solutions?
Elephant trekking is a popular tourist attraction that is abusive to the elephants. Most of the time, elephants are abused and not properly cared for. Instead of spending your money on elephant trekking, you can put your money towards visiting elephants in an elephant sanctuary where you can feed them and bathe them.
Here's what an elephant sanctuary looks like. Australia also has a tourist attraction that is detrimental to the koala's well-being.
A popular tourist attraction is to take a picture of the koala. Fortunately, that's on the decline. As we know today, holding a koala takes minutes, if not years, off of their lives. It stresses them out. By visiting them in their natural habitat and staying a safe distance away from them, you are allowing them to live the long life that they deserve.
Australia is regarded as one of the world's most megadiverse countries. The Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest coral reef ecosystem, encompassing a high diversity of species and habitats. It is Australia's responsibility to protect this biodiversity. Unfortunately, over the past 30 years, the Great Barrier Reef has lost 50% of its coral due to climate change, ocean acidification, and warming waters. April 29, 2018, the Australian government formally recognized the urgency of the Great Barrier Reef situation by announcing a $379 million restoration fund. The Great Barrier Reef not only supports the life in the water, but it supplies people and the local tourism industry in the northeast coast of Australia. Ecotourism can promote volunteer tourism restoration as a way of ecologically and economically sustaining the area.
Overall, the benefits of ecological tourism are to reduce environmental impacts on the earth, awaken us to the beauty of our earth, increase our desire to live harmoniously, encourage us to learn about other cultures, and allow us to contribute to our world in a positive way.